lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring.
This is just a way they're trying to steal the election. We're getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump!
We'll pause.
Protesters are in the building.
Thank you.
They broke the glass. Everybody stay down. Get down.
This is America, and this is what's happening right now. The president needs to call it off.
It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming.
Great solemnity and sadness, I'm announcing that the House will be establishing a select committee on the January 6th insurrection.
There's no place for politics or partisanship in this investigation. Our only charge is to follow the facts.
We cannot leave the violence of January 6th and its causes uninvestigated. The American people deserve the full and open testimony of every person with knowledge of the planning and preparation for January 6th.
For those that say, don't we know everything already? The answer is no. There's so much we don't know about what went into the pressure campaign against the vice president.
The extent of this effort reached the highest levels of our government.
We have received overwhelming cooperation and participation from Americans who can help us piece together this shocking sequence of events, and we have a duty to collect all of the evidence we need to report back to Congress and to the American people.
We are a nation that depends on the peaceful transfer of power.
We owe it to every officer who put their life on the line that day and every day to protect us here in the Capitol. We owe them answers, and this committee intends to get to those answers by all means necessary.
Because no one is above the law. As a country, it's time to learn from our past mistakes, rebuild stronger so this never happens again, and then we can move onward.
I am here with some great gentlemen, and we are going to discuss some of the events that's been going on around government. First of all, I'm here with the senior pastor of Word Alive Church in Alabama. His name is Pastor Von Merritt.
Grace and peace, everyone.
Absolutely. I also have founder and CEO of the Sevens Mastered Self Academy, Mark Edward Pyle.
Glad to be here. Glad that guys brought me in on this.
I also have political activist and founder of the Facebook group, the Bronx, New York Free Thinking Democrats. I have Dion Powell here. How you doing, Dion?
Good evening, family. How you feeling?
Well,
all right. So, gentlemen, we're here to discuss some of the, frankly, sometimes I don't know what to call it sometimes. But whatever it is, we are here to discuss it and try to make some sense out of it for the people that's watching. I guess just to start things off, we will start with the January 6th committee. We will call it bipartisan, even though there's only 2 Republicans. It's still bipartisan. So I guess we've seen, first of all, we've seen the leader of the oaths he just got arrested, and the Oath Keepers. He's the leader of the Oath Keepers. He just got arrested. And what's so intriguing about this situation is that we have now seen Mayor Garland show a little bit of his hand. So we got an investigation going on in the DOJ. We have another investigation going on with the January 6th committee. So I guess the first question, if the January, who knows if it's running parallel, who knows if it's not, who knows? And, you know, according to the law, they don't even know what the DOJ is doing. So what I would say is in your opinion, Mark, do you think that the January 6th committee politically is valid?
Well, first, I want to make a correction to what you said. You said it's bipartisan because there's 2 Republicans on it. Them ain't Republicans that are on that committee, so it's not bipartisan. However, that's neither here nor there. I believe that January 6th committee is just as valid as the 2 impeachments, which in my book, they were a big nothing burger. Unless the committee is going to have full transparency, and unless they're going to show more than that Netflix cut and paste film that they have, I don't give them any validity. This is all so that they can prevent Donald Trump from running for president again. That's all the January 6th thing is about. It's not about finding out the truth, because if they want to know the truth, then let me see Nancy Pelosi's emails and phone why she turned down the National Guard to come in. Let me see the DC mayor's phone, the leader of the Capitol Police. They turned down the National Guard too. 2 days before this, that Trump and the White House had made this olive branch offer to them. So if they really want to know the truth, then let's see all of it. If not, let's just rake Donald Trump over the coals and get him on some trumped up charge and prevent him from running, because the left is really, really afraid of this cat in 2024. That's all it's about.
Pastor Von Merritt, is it valid?
Well, I think a part of the answer lies in how you frame the question, because you question whether the January 6th committee as a political body is valid. And on that point, I would say absolutely yes. It is basically, you know, to me, it's like a lot of things. It's a sideshow. It's kabuki theater. It's y'all look over here so you don't see what's going on over there. Because, I mean, frankly, listen, everybody in America, if you ask the question, already knows if the hundreds or the tens of thousands of people who stormed the Capitol were Black Lives Matter activists or Black community activists, we all know there wouldn't be no hearings, wouldn't be no committees or anything. It would have been a bloodbath right there that day. Everything would have got shut down, and they would probably still be cleaning up the body bags, okay? So as a political sort of kabuki theater sideshow, it's absolutely valid. And I would also say that this whole issue of, you know, everyone having sat and watched what happened on January 6th, the idea that a year later we're still talking about, well, you know, we're trying to get all the facts and we want to get all the information and everything. I'm like, really? You know, really?
Shaking your head, brother.
Yeah, I already had the facts. I had the facts on January 6th. So perception is relative. How you viewed it and how I viewed it can be divergent. Doesn't mean that didn't happen the same way you said it did and the same way I did.
Well, let me ask this question then. I mean, basically what we've seen is Dion, we have seen the committee. Now we're talking about government. We're talking about the way government works. If you are subpoenaed by a sitting government, okay, or a committee out of Washington. Matter of fact, if you're subpoenaed out of any government committee, state government, why is it that? Hold on. Let me ask Dion. Why is it that these set of people, now there's probably been about 10, 15 subpoenas been let out, including they asked Mike Pence to be there. What do you think is going on there? Why are they just allowed not to show up?
Well, the thing about it is, we as Black folk, we have that race paranoia factor when it comes to white leadership in different realms of the judiciary, the Congress, and the executive branch. So I'll just put that out there as such. People that write the rules and have the power to change the rules and have power on the back end to have the loopholes for the rules can drag their feet and do the ins and outs with the long term. My question is always what the end game is and what's the accountability look like and why. Like the brother over here said, the impeachments. So everybody knows if you know how impeachments work, either a slap on the wrist or they kick you out. So everybody's like, well, can they kick Trump out? But brothers, I got a little treat for you today because I got people on the ground. Remember, I have a network, in case you know, from the far right to the far left. I actually know white boys that got caught up in the midst. So I got that, bird's eye view on the ground. And from their POV, everybody get caught up out there, just like how people get caught up with the Black Lives Matter and the Antifa people. So on the same flip side of the coin, that's what happened to my boy. All he did was go inside to find his man to pull him out of the game, and they shot him up too. White boys. Now, whether you feel sympathy or that's on you. I'm just telling you how people get caught up in the mob mentality and the heat of passion. Once again, Black America, the Reverend hit the nail on the head as always. But I just want to put that out there for the people that's on the ground. Now, on his court case, or misdemeanor or felony, is being questioned now on the ground for the severity. The other white boy called me crying that I knew personally from Staten Island, got snatched up and was on the news as well. His is more severe because he went on his Instagram live and they're using all that elegance against him. So he might do a bit for some time in the federal prison. So I want to put that out there for your audience to say, you know what? Sometimes when you're in politics, it's scary when your boy hits you up and you're on the phone a month later, like, yo, Dion, you heard what happened to Nikki? Federal Raleigh scooped him up in Staten Island. I was like, okay, well, what's so cool? Yeah, it's like, I said, wait a minute, Danny, did you get caught up with that? Yeah, Dion, click.
Right.
Because you don't know who else is on three-way in that conversation.
Absolutely.
Text me, yeah, Dion, I don't know what's going on. Text him back, yo, man. And the thing about it is, for me, he's my boy. But just like in Black America, when your boy does his dirt, it's difficult to say, you know what, my brother, I think you should turn yourself in. Let me walk you to the precinct to take yourself in. Because I was just talking about the other day with Central Park 5, I think it's my brother White, something like that. He just went with his boy down to the precinct for support, and they snatched him up too, for support. So, that's the thing. When you have people on the ground in this game from far left, that's in Black Lives Matter, like Carl Newsom, and far right, we got people that you're cool with on the Proud Boys and this, that, and third, where everybody can agree to the same cause. We're all being passionate about this. We're not racist, but we're just trying to get our own, and it gives you a different perspective outside looking in.
Absolutely.
Well, going back to Mark, now I have a political question. This is just a straight, raw political question.
All right.
It's possible, I don't think so, but I think it may be possible that the Republicans can possibly take the House and the Senate. Now, some people think that they will. I don't necessarily think that may happen. However, that being said, let's just say the Republicans do take the House. How are they going to put it together to wherein you won't agree to showing up, but yet you're going to expect other people to show up when you're in charge? So in other words, Kevin McCarthy, he's going to be in charge if he's elected, if the Republicans are elected and he's going to be the majority leader, the speaker, if that happens. But how does he in turn, he looks like a big hypocrite regardless of what party label you're in.
Well,
how is he going to navigate that?
Well, I believe, first of all, that in both chambers and all across in all of them elected offices in Washington, they're hypocrites. You know, we choose between red and blue. They're two bad wings on a diseased bird.
But you don't think that's disrespectful to the body that he
I don't think it's no more
to?
disrespectful than how the Democrats with the majority have acted. So I mean, we're in a time now to where it is tit for tat politics now. So your side does X, Y, Z to us when you're in control. So guess what? We're going to do X, Y, Z and ABC. And then when you guys get it back in 2 years, y'all, and it's just going to be one after the other of, let me top that. Let me undo what he did. Let me undo what she did. And it's going to spin the country into the whirlpool.
Pastor Vaughn, can I just say something? I mean, first things first. If past is prologue, the way the Republican Party now eat their own, hey, newsflash, Kevin, what's his face is never going to be speaker.
No, he wouldn't be speaker anyway.
As soon as they get the House again, they're going to kick him to the curb.
Absolutely.
He was the number one the last time.
He's going to be like Boehner.
And then the number one last time. It was Ryan. Paul Ryan was the number one last time.
Kevin McCarthy was up to be speaker the last time.
No, it was not.
What killed it for him was when he did what is anathema to the Republican Party, which is he told the truth. He told how they set up the Benghazi committee just to hurt Hillary Clinton. That was the sole purpose of it. And when he opened his mouth up and said that, like I said, he committed the sacrilege in the Republican Party.
If you say so, I'm not Republican, so
telling the truth.
I don't care. I don't care about the Republican Party. I'm not a Republican.
Hold on.
But again, that's a distraction. If past is prologue, Kevin McCarthy's never going to be speaker.
Hillary Clinton returned to the campaign today after 11 hours of testimony yesterday before the House Benghazi Committee. What did we learn during that marathon grilling? Nancy Cordes put the question to the chairman.
As some of you may know, I had a pretty long day yesterday.
Clinton did not declare victory today. Conservative commentators did it for her, declaring the prolonged hearing a bust and a waste of time, citing this line of questioning by Republican Mike Pompeo as a prime example.
Ambassador Stevens did not have your personal email address. We've established that.
Yes, that's right.
Did he have your cell phone number?
No, but he had the 24-hour number of the state operations in the State Department that can reach me 24/7.
Yes, ma'am. Did he have your fax number?
He had the fax number of the State Department.
Did he have your home address?
No, I don't think any ambassador has ever asked me for that.
Other exchanges seem designed to shed more heat than light.
And here's basically what happened to their requests. They were torn up.
Well, that's just not true, Congressman.
But in the end, even committee chair Trey Gowdy struggled to explain what had been gained.
Mr. Chairman, most important new things you learned today?
I think some of Jimmy Jordan's questioning. Well, when you say new today, I mean, we knew some of that already. We knew about the emails. In terms of her testimony, I don't know that she testified that much differently today than she has the previous time she's testified. So I'd have to go back and look at the transcript.
So
I don't care who is speaker.
That's pretty much a non-issue.
That doesn't matter.
But in terms of looking at this whole thing, another thing that this entire year and all of this stuff has shown us It's basically like watching a movie where they're saying, we're going to show you how the just us system works for just us.
Right.
Because I guarantee you, my brother, if you and I were sent a subpoena today saying you need to have your butt in a seat in Washington tomorrow, we don't get to give a press conference and write a letter and all of that with all of our reasons why.
You may not. However, I know that a congressional subpoena doesn't.
Hold on, Mark. Hold on. I'll let you.
Subpoena comes.
Hold on, Mark. I'll let
the subpoena, and 24 hours later, the black cars are in front of your door. Okay,
that might be your experience. That's not mine.
We don't even get an opportunity to say hell no.
Speak for yourself. Don't put me in.
Well, the thing about it is, gentlemen.
Let me ask Dion something. Dion, look, we had Hillary Clinton. You know, the Republicans, they have a problem with Hillary. They want to point out, but what Hillary actually did was she showed up to that hearing that they asked her to be at. And she stayed there for 11 hours asking questions about a boogeyman like Benghazi. Now, I don't understand why not one Republican, not one, can show up and do what that strong woman did.
Well, that shows you the dichotomy of the Democrats and Republicans. Democrats try to prove that the system can work and that they can beat the system. Even Black America does that. We're going to go through the system the way we can to prove that it works and do the arm thing. Republicans do the complete opposite because they have that certain mentality of power and privilege along with the access, tools, and resources to people in every other area of government, judicial, executive at the time because of the administration and also Congress as well. But the thing about it is when it comes to the federal government, you got to see, like the gentleman said, behind the system, where the money comes from, and when the votes are going to come from. So if you're going to think forward with the midterm elections, you got to think, well, what's the political climate and pulse of the voters right now as it goes? I can only speak to New York as well. When they look at government in D.C. and the Biden administration, a lot of people in New York are not happy, right? And so here in the ground, in the Bronx and beyond, what's going to hurt them nationwide, I believe, number one, vaccine COVID mandates. Everybody across the board, from Black Lives Matter to the Proud Boys, are against this. Number two, what's going on with the gas prices? The reason why the gas prices are up is because Trump is out, and Trump said, we should drill oil here. That'd be a good environment. So let's shut down drill oil here, but we still doing oil, so we're still outsourcing and paying out. So gas prices are up. That's going to hurt the support system and make things go red, I believe, in November, and this will actually perpetuate. And then surprise, it'll be ironic if the public says, you know what, let's pack the Supreme Court now. You know what, let's try to adjust the filibuster now. That's the irony I want to see play out.
Yeah. And can I address something? First of all, if I get a subpoena from Congress to come, I'm not gonna rush myself to get there because a subpoena from Congress has no judiciary weight behind it whatsoever.
Right.
You can wipe your ass with it and it won't mean
nothing.
The thing
about it is, my brother, the difference between you and the minister, because a lot of clergy have that word smithery. The ministers are faith-based. That's more, I believe, a spiritual, emotional matter. You see, the ministers, I don't offend you from wrong, Pastor, much in their judgment, they know how to play off the emotions of the crowd and society. My brother, you are factual based.
Yes.
You could put X, Y, and Z on paper logically without all that emotion stuff. However, back to the minister's point, being the government, as it were, as a Black man, theoretically, it could be fear about, genetics or racism. And his point, they still could find a way to scoop you up regardless of that, based on that. That's it.
I just feel like here's what I'll say, right? And I'm going to give Pastor Von Merritt a chance to speak on that. I really think that, what we are seeing is an absolute disrespect to the office that they claim they uphold. And we're seeing it rawly We are seeing that now, in my opinion, as a person that observes politics for years, I've been seeing this for years when it comes to Republican politics. They play it right up to the line, they play it raw, and they don't care about the rules. Pastor Von Mary, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I could say any one thing about Donald Trump and what he actually did, because I know for a while, what I used to say was that, Donald Trump basically turned the United States government into a criminal organization. But I've changed my mind on that lately, because what he actually did was he exposed it as the criminal organization that it's all.
There you go.
And again, like I said, everything that we're seeing, I mean, it's almost like watching a mob movie. You got the guy at the top. Everybody knows, who's behind everything that's happening. But everybody's just sort of playing their parts in this, and we're watching all the drama, and it's TV fodder, and it's stuff to keep, political commentators employed, and, but it is what it is. And what they're showing you is, listen, we got the system. The system is set up for just us. So what we're watching is criminal just us. And we're actually seeing the system work the way it was designed to work.
January 6th was a disgrace. American citizens attacked their own government. President Trump is still liable for everything he did while he was in office. As an ordinary citizen, didn't get away with anything yet.
McConnell following up with an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal attacking Donald Trump's unhinged falsehoods and telling the paper his own priority is getting candidates who can actually win in November, which may or may not involve trying to affect the outcome of the primaries.
Elections are about the future. If you want to be a Republican leader in the House or the Senate, you have to have a working relationship with President Donald Trump. He's the most consequential Republican since Ronald Reagan. It's his nomination if he wants it. But here's the question. Can Senator McConnell effectively work with the leader of the Republican Party, Donald Trump? I'm not going to vote for anybody for leader of the Senate as a Republican unless they can prove to me that they can advocate an American First agenda and have a working relationship with President Trump, because if you can't do that, you will fail.
Why is it that you think that the vast majority of your allies in the United States Senate are not standing behind you? We did have that statement by Mike Reynolds.
Because Mitch McConnell is a loser. And frankly, Mitch McConnell, if he were on the other side and if Schumer were put in his position, he would have been fighting this like you've never seen before. He would have been fighting this, because when you look at it, and this is a long way from over.
Mitch McConnell should have challenged that election, because even back then we had plenty of material to challenge that election. He should have challenged the election. Schumer would have challenged the election. But Mitch McConnell didn't have the courage to challenge the election. He's only a leader because he raises a lot of money and he gives it to senators. That's the only thing he's got. That's his only form of leadership. He should have challenged the election.
First of all, does anybody, if the Republicans take the Senate, and that's a big if, and I keep on saying that, if the Republicans take the Senate, does anybody think Mitch McConnell is going to be the majority leader with the war that's going on between Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump?
Yes. I don't think the war between McConnell and Trump doesn't have anything to do with McConnell being the ranking member of the Republican Party in the Senate. So by default, it's going to be McConnell. It has nothing to do with who he's feuding with. It goes by rank. He's been there the longest. He's the majority.
But they have to elect him. In other words,
it's a formality, bro. That's a formality. That's a straw. You know what a straw vote is, right? You already know it's only one guy on the ballot. It's only him on the ballot. So that's a straw vote. That's all that is.
Well, that's not necessarily true. In other words, what's going to happen is if they get the majority, It's a secret kind of ballot with just senators. And if Donald Trump can mess with some of these senators to pull
Trump
them
doesn't
off.
have no influence, bro. Donald Trump is not the president.
The thing is, what the curveball could be for what James is talking about is the midterm elections effectiveness. For example, the constituency of certain Republicans might not be happy with those Republicans and elect another Republican for either what happened through the January 6th situation where they sided with the Democrats or if they did not. So that might put a little dichotomy. Then, once again, the political climate around Trump, depending on how he plays the Republicans unilaterally, then of course, Donald Trump doing what he does being Donald Trump, there might be a chance for him to help them flip the script on McConnell. But who knows? But politically, politically, Mitch McConnell between now and then can screw up. And you never know with this kind of game. You know what I mean? But my brother, you do have a valid point there as well.
I first off, from where I'm sitting right now, it looks like the Republicans have a better chance of taking the House than they do the Senate. I don't think it's going to turn out for it as well for Republicans in the Senate as particularly the political pontificators are saying. If they do get the Senate, because if the Republicans take the House and the Senate in November, this country is done.
Country's already done, bro. I don't know if you.
Well, I will say this. Let me say this. You know, they're
crazy because they're crazy.
If they get
already
both
crazy,
the House and the Senate, if they get both the House and the Senate, Donald Trump will be installed as freaking king. Even before.
Well, can I say?
We have a constitution.
But
all the fear and rhetoric is no good. All the fear and rhetoric sounds good, but it can't happen. We have a constitution.
Well, the thing about it is this:
every
cycle, there's always a bigger threat around the corner. And minister, once again, no offense to your detriment as a minister, you are perpetuating a system of our people in which they can dangle that carrot amongst us to get us to think a certain way without.
All of us ain't victims.
Once again, that's a buzzword. So we have to massage it a little bit. Okay, that's what I'll do. So instead of the bigger threat around the corner, we should do what Donald Trump, who's a New Yorker, would say, what do you got to lose? Now, I'm not saying vote Republican, but let's vote other, in which that we send the message like this. You can't just come and tell us any old thing and be like, oh my God, Donald Trump is scary.
Don't get
Republicans bad evil, right? Let's look objectively. Let's look at who the third party candidates are. Let's groom our own candidates and that kind of thing. But long term, whoever's in control of the House,
always check out the Libertarian Party.
I agree as well. I've started the wrong Libertarian Party. But other than that, the clergy, for their detriment, they are actually indirectly and directly with the way you're talking. Actually, with this generation, it's actually after seeing what they're doing, it's turning them off. Either they're going to do one of three things. They're going to not vote. They're going to vote Republican or just for Donald Trump out of spite behind the scenes. Or number three, they might vote for a third-party candidate. And when you look at the numbers last time, black men alone did the same process. There's, oh my God, black men either voted for Trump or like me, vote for a third party, Dr. Joe Jorgensen.
Well, there was a campaign that was launched for everybody out there that for the inner works of politics. There was a campaign to reach out to black men, and
yes,
it was a dirty shadow campaign, and it was launched by certain people that financed it. And I don't want to get into the weeds because that, it's but anyway, a lot of people out there don't understand sometimes the way politics is financed. And underneath, but things just don't happen for no reason. And what the viewers have to understand is that politics is driven by data. And what happens is they could see the data, they see the behavior, they see what people like, what they don't like. This is how campaigns are run. For example, out there, when you're a candidate, you will find out who votes Democrat. And if you're a Democrat, you go to them. You find out who's Republican. And if you're a Republican, you go to them. All of this stuff is driven by data. and they finance that data. They finance everything through something called dark money. Okay, now when you talk about
Not all of it is dark money.
when you
Not
talk
all of it.
about Kanye West, when you talk about certain people that have, when you talk about Jared Kushner, when you talk about people like that aren't the most, Jared Kushner knows more about politics than Kanye West. But the point is that some of our people don't know how politics is driven. And they get caught up into these things that they think that they know what's going on, when in actuality, they don't know what's going on.
No, I got to stop you on that, brother.
That's what's going on here.
I think what's been going on for our people is we done been hoodwinked by the Democratic Party since the early 60s, and there are black
how can you say that when Republicans are running hand in hand with Oath Keepers and Proud Boys?
Who are the Democrats running with?
The thing about it is with the blue Kool-Aid, my brother, you hit on the head. Let's go with the economics, follow the money. But then the thing that trumps that is the civic education of how it works, this and that third. Because I tell people all the time, because the past day I would say, you know what? Our saying in the Bronx is the system's not broken. It's working fine for the people it needs to be. And, that's how it goes. But the most powerful tool the man has is the ability to create and change the rules. Back to the January 6th situation. But when it comes to the Republican Party ins and outs, you'd be surprised how many people are actually working together behind the scenes. How many LGBT people are in the Republican Party?
Absolutely.
As well.
How many sister girls are in the Republican Party?
It's not many of them.
Oh, it's a lot of them, brother.
No, it's not many of them. It's not many of them. If you look at the data, look at the data. Look who voted.
Go to a rally. Some data. Oops, sorry.
Go to a rally. Are you saying that when you go to a rally, you don't see a bunch of black sisters at no Donald Trump rally?
Can I say something? You want to talk about rallies? Let's talk about the Black Lives Matter rallies. In New York City, the Black Lives Matter rallies aren't full of many black lives anymore. Because black people, as the brother said, are waking up and they're seeing the whole. You see, the problem is too much information can happen instantaneously. Number two, the media's propaganda machine is in jeopardy because unfortunately, social media has created an independent mechanism for our people for instantaneous media information. That's why, Brother James, I'm proud of you with the show because it does the same thing outside the noise of the propaganda.
What we saw in the Black Lives, let me tell you something. Black Lives Matter was the first grassroots situation that was outside of the civil rights community. What happened is we saw
what?
Yes. Oh, you don't know? What I'm telling you right now is facts.
What? Wait a minute.
No. Let me break it down for you. Let me break it down for you. In the 60s, Mark, let's do our history now. In the 60s, when you had Martin Luther King coming out, and you also had the late 50s, okay, you had the civil rights movement. And that civil rights movement came from the church. That came out of the black
the Panthers,
church.
You just gonna just
the Black
doo-doo
Lives
on the
Matter.
Panthers?
Listen, the Black Lives Matter movement was the first civil rights movement that never came out of the black church.
The Panthers didn't come out of the church?
No, I'm talking about, listen,
underground
Black
didn't come out of the church?
Lives Matters movement was the movement that did not come out of the black church. It was a grassroots movement that white brothers and white sisters also participated in. And it was also driven by young people. Young people took to the streets. They saw something that wasn't right, and you had the Black Lives Matter movement. Another thing is what happened if you look at voting in this country, you see how black women have stood up. Not just now. This ain't just something that just happened a couple of years ago. When blacks was locked up, when black men was locked up, when black men was absent, it was the black women that stood up, went to the polls and made a difference for their community. And now it is paying off. Who can mess with a sister movement in this country?
Wait, whoa.
How's it paying off? Please tell me.
We'll get there. First of all, you're right. Civil rights movement, clergy. While Black Panther Party, no clergy, and then imposed in turn their clergy. Then you have National Action Network, clergy-ish, kind of, but they built themselves off the NAACP model. Right. Then, as a result of these institutions, NAACP, NAN, not doing their job, then Black Lives Matter came to surface. But as you said, Brother James earlier, the money. If you want to go,
wait. Let me just go back. I just can't let that go for my NAN people. Are you trying to say? Are you saying that the NAN's things that they have done for this country is just nothing?
No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the money, the source of the money with NAN, who it goes to, where it comes from. Just like I'm a member of Blexit. Blexit has Candace Owens. If you look at the money again, people can pull that card. If any organization, you can pull that card unless, just like Donald Trump, you have your own money. Yep. That's what makes you more dangerous. And if I
that's why they're afraid of him.
Let me just say something about Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump right now has the Republican Party, excuse my French, by the balls, because he's the only candidate or the only person that has ever come through the Republican Party that has ever made them pay off his bills. We have never seen that in political history to wherein one man has went to a political party and strong-armed the party and now has that party paying off his bills.
What bills?
What in the world is the Republican?
More rhetoric.
And if the Republicans get into the Pastor Von Merritt, I'm just, hey, look, it is what it is, man.
More rhetoric.
This is about history and bringing history together with what's going on.
Brother James is correct, and I can actually co-sign that, even though my person's way. If you go to, because I empower people the tools to, if you go to FEC.gov, the people that, once again, dark money, the people that circulate that money are paying off Trump's bill. If you go to opensecrets.org, again, you can follow money in that detail.
What bills? I just asked for what bills are you talking about?
They're paying his lawyer fees.
Wait. There is validity what Brother James is talking about. Once you get your own edit.
Okay.
Wait. But I'm just giving you the tools necessary to corroborate what you're saying.
That's fine.
If you go to FTC.gov, you can see what he's talking about. If you go to Open Secrets,
I peruse Open Secrets.
I'm just saying those are the tools you need to make an objective judgment.
Those are already in the toolkit. I appreciate it.
So based on the Republican,
that's all other families.
Right. So based on Pastor Von Merritt, I'm gonna let you speak now. Based on just this fact alone, it's just one fact, okay? Let alone all the rest of the facts that we could get into that the Republican Party don't want us to tear into. But listen, one fact is that how do you have a one-man bills being paid through a party, and and this is the type of party you want in charge? You want a party that's a crazy man that has no experience in government, that doesn't know what he's doing? The American people, do y'all want that crazy man in charge of what's going on? You see what he already did.
Versus the crazy man that's in charge now
what
that's
do you
been in
want to
Congress
do now?
for 50 years and still don't know what he's doing.
Now, all of this, here's an interesting question. If we go all the way back to the 2016 campaign, what was Donald Trump's number one argument about Hillary Clinton? That she was a corrupt politician who was using her office to make money and enrich herself, and that she was doing pay-for-play politics and all of that.
That's been proven.
Well, I don't know, but if anybody else has been paying attention, it looks to me like Everything that Donald Trump said Hillary Clinton was doing, Donald Trump actually did as president of the United States. And he's still doing it. He's no longer even president, but you got the Republican Party paying for his legal bills, paying for his advertising and his
not
marketing.
the Republican Party.
Yes, it is the Republican Party.
No,
and all of that.
It's not. It's not the Republican Party directly. No.
What are you talking about? It is the Republican National Committee that's paying this man's bill.
That's different. National Committee is different.
Well,
it's the same thing, Mark.
Wait. Once again, if you follow the money, the pastor, once again, I gotta, kind of admonish you there because it gets a little bit emotional as opposed to the facts, which is this. If you follow the money from the committee of the party, because once again, the Democratic Party itself could be guilty of the same thing when it comes to expenditures.
Absolutely.
Right?
No,
Yes, it
the
is.
Democratic Party has never paid off nobody's bill.
Yes, they have, man.
Who?
Yes, they have.
Who?
I gotta stop talking.
Yes, they have, brother.
Who, Mark? Who?
Yes, they have.
Name the names. Let's go.
Yes,
Who?
they have. Yes, they
Who? I could go fact
Governor
with you on
Cuomo.
everything.
Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Look, Andrew,
Mayor
that's
de
a
Blasio,
whole
Mayor de
other
Blasio.
situation. Andrew Cuomo, the Democrats threw him out.
Oh,
it wasn't
okay.
the Republicans that threw him out. The Democrats threw him out.
Do you know why?
But listen, let's just go back to what basically what I'm saying is that Kevin McCarthy does not have the cojones to stand up to Donald Trump and say, no, sir, you're not running this. Mike Pence does not have the cojones to stand up to Donald Trump. We can go down the line. And so my point is,
why are you still suffering from Trump derangement syndrome?
do you really want this party calling the shots over our lives? That's what I asked the people.
Versus the Harris and Biden, right?
Listen,
is that the choice?
Harris
is that
and
the
Biden.
Is that the choice? Yes or no?
Yeah,
if that's the choice, I'll take anybody.
Harris and Biden makes way more sense.
Regardless,
Tell me how. I got a question. Okay. Now, if we're going to make that dichotomy, then it's this. We're going to have to use the same principles. My question is this. If Donald Trump put vaccine mandates on this country or pushed it, what do you think the same people who are going to go home for vaccine mandates would have done? All right, just think about that.
Say that one more time. I can hold on. What'd you say?
I'm sorry, brother, guys, these AirPods. But I said that if Donald Trump won the election and tried to put vaccine mandates for our safety, the same people who are going gung-ho for vaccine mandates now, how do you think they were reacted? Right? And then I use the example from before with the supply chain, right? Donald Trump, with his administration, wanted to drill for oil, drill, bury, drill, get all our resources for jobs, and the gasoline prices were great. Joe Biden, AOC, they brought environment support, and y'all, we're polluting the environment. Let's all stop drilling. This oil is bad. But still, we were dependent on oil, and we had to get it from foreign countries, paying them more, and gas prices are through. This affects everybody across the board, left, right, in between, Konami code, and everybody is upset with it.
So, Dion, this is what you're basically saying. You're saying that mandates is going to play a significant role in the next election.
Absolutely.
How Biden has handled the virus is.
Well. Let's take out the emotion of it, and let's look at the facts with mandates. All across the board, people feel some sort of way about the mandates. Vaccine is definition. Some people like us at Blacks would be much, you're anti-vaccine. No, we're anti-mandates. Where a Black sister, a grandma, because it hurts our community more than else, she could work at a job for 20 years in a union. Grandma's not going to change, takes the vaccine. She could lose her job, lose her pension, and still cannot collect unemployment. Back here in New York State, SUNY State University, QEC University students, they can't graduate unless they're vaccinated. Dion, once again on the ground, why can't I graduate without a vaccine? And I'm working remotely. That makes zero sense to me. These are the policies on paper.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, what do you say to that, Pastor Von Merritt?
Actually, listen, the way I see all of this playing out in the fall, right now, from where I'm sitting, it looks like one of two things will happen. Okay. The Republicans are not likely to get both houses. They'll get one or the other. My guess is they'll get the House, but they will not get the Senate. Because if you study political history, there's always one move to check another move. Matter of fact, the last two cycles have been more outliers than anything else because it's a rare thing that you have one party in control of all three frames. Okay,
It's not rare. It happens quite regular, actually. It's not a rare thing to have that presidency, the House and the Senate. It happened. Obama had it. Clinton had it. Bush, both Bushes had it. Reagan had it. I mean, it happens. It happens, and then the backlash comes in the midterm. So it's not unique to 2016. This is the history of all the elections.
Do you think that mandates is going to be the top reason why people vote Republican?
No, I think it's going to be inflation. It's going to be how Biden has bungled the virus situation after promising to stop the virus, and I believe that people are seeing Biden for who he really is, and they are losing confidence in his day-to-day operations, and I think it's going to be a combination of that. I think it's going to be a combination of people having to spend more money for the same things that used to cost less.
Supply chain, but if you want to bring it more local, let's talk about the Black agenda. Okay.
Yeah, that's number one.
Okay, number one is the Black male agenda amongst the four of us, because politics, and I've learned from the NAACP, there are no permanent friends. Well, there's supposed to be no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. My interest as a Black man is what happens to Black men, mass incarceration. So when I look at the record of Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, okay, let's see the actions. Okay, HBCUs. Once again, on paper, Black men again. So wait a minute, they're getting cut.
Could I just say something about those HBCUs? Actually, what happened also is that HBCUs, there was money in there for HBCUs. Manchin and Sinema didn't want that to happen in the BBB. So that was
but
one.
That's
but
okay.
listen,
Trump
Mark, let me
already
finish.
hooked up the
Let me finish
HBCUs before he left office.
No. Let me finish.
Yeah, he did.
Listen, let me finish. What I'm saying, we're talking about Biden and Harris, right?
Yeah, they cut it out.
So no, Biden and Harris did not cut it out. What happened is that Manchin didn't want money going towards HBCUs. So in order to get the BBB bill through, they have to cut a deal with Manchin. Now, let's all remember, there is a 50-50 cut going on in the U.S. Senate, which means if one senator doesn't want something, then guess what? It's going to be a problem. So the BBB bill was full of money for HBCUs. Manchin, Sinema didn't want it in the bill. So in order to cut the deal, Biden said, okay, let's try something else. But you can't really trust Sinema and Manchin because they both take money from the Republicans and Republican donors.
That has nothing to do with what politics is supposed to be about, which is management. That may all be true and all good. Yeah. Let's look at the administration management of it. Once again, you got to contact people on the ground where they're at. There are still people who are not sleeping in dormitories. So I understand what you're saying, but on the ground itself, HBCUs, these people don't even want to live there. So
absolutely,
all that's well and good. But if it's on the ground, it's implemented under whoever's watch, Democratic control institution, HBCU, Democratic control executive branch, and also the House, then I have to look at it a little bit more differently than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Donald Trump,
here's the thing.
Wait. Yeah. Donald Trump, every so often, even if people say he's pandering, occasionally he would bring a group of formerly incarcerated Black folks that he's pardoning and giving community And it's like, okay, well, I haven't seen Joe Biden and Harris do that yet.
Yet.
I'm not sure on paper it's going to look
Well,
like.
look.
I'm not sure on paper.
Yet.
We saw Donald Trump in office for 4 years. Harris and Biden are just going on a year being in office.
Yeah, but Trump had
so let's be clear. Let's put this in the real context. Let's put this in the context.
There the first 90 days.
Let's put this in the context.
Trump had brothers there the first 90 days. Put that
Listen,
in the context.
let's put this in the context, right? Where you have to clean up. Democrats always get elected to clean up
with that.
To clean up
what
happened with the Trump administration. And the Trump administration left a huge situation with COVID where people was falling off.
You had vaccines.
And those vaccines that he wanted to lie about and say the virus was a hoax.
That you're taking credit for.
Now
how
he's
does he
taking
lie
credit.
About him?
Now he's taking too late,
no,
sir.
Biden is taking credit for him.
Listen, you can't. No,
Biden
gave him a leg up and said, "This is Trump's idea."
Wait. Listen to me. Your Democrats, Kamala, Biden, all of them said that they would never take a vaccine that Trump had rushed through, and they was the first ones to take it when it came through. They're hypocrites, and you don't want to talk about the hypocrites of the Democrat Party. All you want to do is rail on the Republicans.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me
ask you a question. Did Biden or did Biden not give Donald Trump credit for pushing the button on vaccines? Yes or no?
Apples and oranges. Did Biden or did Biden not say if 200,000 Americans die from a virus on the president's watch, they should resign? He already has gotten more than Trump had. Why doesn't he resign? You don't want to talk about that.
We can roll tape.
Let me be clear. Thanks to the prior administration and our scientific community, America is one of the first countries to get the vaccine. And thanks to my administration and the hard work of Americans, we led a rollout that made America among the world leaders in getting shots in arms.
Former President Trump responded to President Biden's comments yesterday, saying he is very appreciative and surprised to have been thanked in a preview clip released of an interview that will air Sunday, Trump told Fox News. I'm very appreciative that I was surprised to hear it. Trump told Fox News, I think it was a terrific thing, and I think it makes a lot of people happy.
Let's talk about money once again. Donald Trump, in my opinion, implemented certain social programs and fundings of money and stimulus checks I think maybe FDR himself would agree with. Yes. And then after he left office, Biden and Harris didn't have a plan in place to implement and wean our people off those programs. So now in New York, say again, because I'm on the ground, people are figuring out where's the free government rent money coming from? Where's the stimulus check coming from? And I said, wait a minute, didn't Mr. Donald Trump implement the stimulus check?
The Republicans cut it off.
No.
Wait, whoa. Who started it?
No.
Sorry.
No.
Hey, that's a fact. No. You can look it up.
No, it's not.
What happened was Republican governors in red states cut off that money. This way, you can look it up. People out there,
how did they cut off money that they didn't get? How do a governor cut off federal money? It comes from the Fed.
Man,
they don't control it going out.
What state was
it? They control it going out in their state.
If I could recall, what state was it that had the COVID money?
The state can't stop the Fed policy.
No,
they can't.
Listen.
Go back to civics class.
What
if you
state
think they can, go back to civics class.
Listen. When you have a legislator that's all right, so how can if you think that, why is it that these Republican red states in 19 states are cutting off voting?
They're not cutting off voting.
They're making it difficult to vote.
They're not making it difficult. They're making it easier.
They're scaring us with voting again. There's a website, my brother can't record right now from the computer, where you could actually check the voting rights of each state. And
there are 7 states. I got them listed. Your own state, brother, your own state of New York, Delaware, Colorado, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Minnesota, and Wisconsin all have stronger voting laws than the one that's proposed in Georgia. When Atlanta lost the All-Star game and they send it to Colorado, Colorado is even more restrictive than the Georgia law.
I encourage people to really dig in the weeds to find out this information.
Oh yeah, you can find out this exact information.
Can I give you an example? Every so often, if you look at it historically, the Voting Rights Act has been dusted off and has to be renewed, all kinds of stuff.
By Mitch McConnell, he didn't want to do that.
Let's look at public assistance, okay, SNAP and food stamps. Donald Trump, once again, being Donald Trump, the first ever non-partisan person proving that democracy works, he exposed it. I want to remove all the public assistance and social programs. And then, whoa, wait a minute, Trump. White people actually are the ones that mostly benefit, I'll say Jews as well, from these programs. They had to pump the Trump trigger. I was like, no. And Trump said, no, this is wrong. We got to get them off the government tit of these social programs. That's a perfect example of Trump's, whether you want to call it racist insanity, when he actually had a subliminal point of what he was talking about and knowing what he was talking about as a businessman. I just want to put that out there.
The Supreme Court has issued 2 decisions related to the Biden administration's vaccine mandates. Remember, there were challenges that were heard just about a week ago in the Supreme Court, and this is what the Supreme Court has just come down with. They have blocked that vaccine mandate that applied to large employers with 100 people or more. This was a vaccine mandate that effectively went into effect on Monday, just the masking portion of it. And the vaccine portion of that mandate was supposed to go into effect February 9th. Now that mandate is completely blocked. This is a mandate that would have affected about 80 million workers across the United States at large employers. Businesses had said to the Supreme Court, you need to block this. The agency does not have the power. That's OSHA. They do not have the power to put this mandate into effect. The Supreme Court agreeing with them. So that mandate is blocked. On the other hand, there was also another mandate that the Supreme Court was looking at. This was for healthcare workers, affecting about 10 million people. It was put into effect by Health and Human Services. The justices during arguments indicated that that might be okay, and turns out the justices saying that mandate is okay. So we have a bit of a mix here for the Biden administration.
But I just want to ask, what kind of sense does it make for the people that's out there? For the people that's out there, when you go on a plane, and I put this on Facebook, when you go on the plane, you can't light up a cigarette for yourself because if you light up a cigarette, it might cause the plane to go down and you might affect other people.
Yeah. You used to smoke on planes all the time.
My point is that Pastor Von Merritt, what kind of conclusion, what do you think that's going to do? Do you think we're going to see a prolonged pandemic? Because I put it to you like this. If people, people don't want to take the vaccine, they don't want to wear a mask, they don't want to take the new pill, all they want to do is cry about freedom. So where do we go from there in the middle of a pandemic?
Well, they're pretty much already talking about that in the media now. We're going to move from pandemic phase to endemic phase. In other words, COVID is here to stay. They're not going to let it go away. That is what it is. We're going to have to learn and make the adjustments to living with it. And those are the rumblings you already hear. But as far as the Supreme Court, since the Brown v. Board of Education decision in 1955, the right has been planning, plotting, performing plans. Since the Brown v. Board decision of 1955, the right has basically been saying, we're going to take back the courts. This sort of completes that swinging pendulum. You now have a Supreme Court that is really not justices. They're right-wing corporatists, okay? They're political operatives. They're not judges or justices, but it's all part of their plan. Like I said, they've been working on this for 20, 30, 40 years, and they finally accomplished it. And the only way you're ever going to get back around that is Joe Biden's going to have to do something that he don't want to do because the Democrats just basically don't have the stones to do it, which is expand the court. Joe Biden right now could add 3 justices to the court if he wanted to, if he had the political will to.
And stack it.
You know,
well, I want to say this. All right. Now, brother, I have mixed feelings about the Constitution when it comes to disease. My doctor made me aware of something. He said, listen, Dion, tuberculosis is the only disease you can be arrested for if you are positive. Okay, so that's why I have mixed feelings about what you said, and that's a fact over here. Now, once again, over here, when it comes to mandates, what happened to all the liberal progressives that are crying about big pharma? That's number one.
Right.
Number two, let's look at the facts again. In New York City, we have the most stringent vaccine mandates in the country, right? But however, all people that are boosted and vaccinated now all of a sudden have to get tested and prove that they're negative. Watch this. Reading the CDC, I go to my doctor's office. Lines are, I said, doctor, can I get a COVID test here? No. Oh, but then I'm back in my mind, sorry, money, fine, insurance. Okay. I'll play it. Hey, doctor, can I get an antibody test? All right, Mr. Powell, why not? Okay, I was positive on this. I have antibodies on this date. All right, this is the date where I was positive. Here's the date where I'm negative. Here's the date of my antibodies. Now, CDC doctor, common sense, 2 dangerous words, critical thinking, dangerous words. So, doctor, these antibodies exist in my body for 3 months, 2 to 3 months, give or take. Sure. So I can't catch nor spread the COVID with antibodies. Nah, you still take the vaccine. No, you cannot. This is what the CDC says. So now I can prove I have antibodies and a negative test result. I should be able to get into places that people with a vaccine card and no results at all shouldn't be able to get to. Because the people that are vaccinated, boosted, 30% is great and all, but efficacy, but still, they can catch and spread disease. So nobody's talking about common sense and critical thinking of the whole case of junior high school of the antibodies. What about the the white blood cells? I never heard those 2 words come up ever. Go ahead.
Right. And for me, the OSHA mandate on private business was unconstitutional to begin with. So that was a bunt for the Supreme Court. It had nothing really to do with a taking over Supreme Court. The reason why the court is aligned the way it is because justices don't die when the Democrats are in control. Just pick, you need to get some of them to retire when the Democrat is in control. It's not a concerted effort since 55 to take back the court. They've always had the court. There was nothing to take back. So there is a whole nother idea about this vaccine mandate. How about, and you touched on it about freedom, how about it is common sense and trust yourself? And we've never gotten rid of any virus that's come around. So COVID is no different. And what? Wash your hands, boost your immune system, use your natural immunity. And if you want the vaccine, go get it. If you don't get it, and it's your choice.
Let me piggyback off that. Another thing with common sense, critical thing is normally when
everybody doesn't have common sense though.
Well, that's true too. But this is what the facts are. Anytime they talk about hypertension, because even though this virus is here, the #1 killer in America is what? Heart disease.
Yep.
Even with that fact, with all these things coming out, they still don't have the disclaimer. But with proper diet and exercise, that always comes with it. So far, they're not doing that. And that's when I have to question the process myself. Being in a political game like my brother here and see how the government actually works and what they actually can do to you, then now it's like, wait a minute, I'm not going to take this. I'll take my chances. I had a positive in 2022. I bounced back because of these reasons. Okay, go ahead.
It's so funny to me to hear some people in the community talk about, like, they talk about this stuff about exercise and letting your body do this and stuff like that.
I know it's funny.
Or because the thing, or when it comes to the vaccine or the whole COVID thing, they talk, well, wait, I got to do my own research. What's
wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
Except nobody ever does it.
I did mine.
No, you
I'm one
may
of those
have done
dudes that
yours.
read everything.
Look, Mark, you may have done yours.
Okay.
But there's a whole other people that haven't done. Look,
they damn
people
fault.
don't do half of the stuff that they should, okay? Most people, not just some, most people in the world don't do what they should do. So depending on everybody
or what
in
they're
the world,
told to do, or what they're told to do.
what they're told to do. So my point is to depend on people to do what they should do. Everybody will be dead by the time people do what they should do.
Based on what? Dead. Wait a minute. What do you mean everybody?
No, based on people's behavior. We have a whole history of people just not doing. Some people don't like to go to work. You know, hey, it is what it is.
Right. You see, that's where, unfortunately, that's when the government comes into play and to save society from itself.
Right.
That's why Social Security exists. Because the masses cannot be trusted.
That's socialism. That's socialism.
So what?
Hold on. FDR implemented a lot of socialist programs.
Yes, he did.
Unfortunately, the problem is once you give humanity something, you can't take it away. So back to the stimulus check. How are we going to wean people off of Social Security where they're at the point to a new system or individually can take care of themselves long term?
Well, we can't do that because we're so based in COVID and people not believing all type of stuff. I mean, look, we have so much to get to, but we can't get to that because people are making up stuff and spreading it all over the internet.
Yeah, Joe Biden is doing that too. He's
And
making
doing
up stuff
all
too.
type of stuff. Meanwhile, they're going to do their own research.
Up too.
They're going to do their own research. Okay.
Yeah, they the king and queen of misinformation, accusing everybody else.
Okay, so you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying for the people out there, remember what I said before. I said politics is looked at through the eyes of what's going on through the data. And data shows that people don't do what they supposed to do. As a republic, as a country, as a government, we know this. We know that if we let people do and handle the way they say they gonna do it, they gonna go home and they gonna put their face right into the books. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. It never has happened. It's the reason why I have this show to talk about these it's about people's behavior. The government has all of this down to a science. Campaigns have all of this down to a science. This is some of what politics, what we know. Experts go to school and they learn this type of stuff. And so people want to know the facts. They had plenty of time to know the facts. People do all sorts of stuff that they should not be doing, and here we are today. So based on that, somebody, and you know what? If the government didn't say something, it would be hell because people would blame them for not speaking up or making things happen to save us from ourselves. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody who's looked at this channel. I want to thank everybody who's already subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. Also, we have a midterm election coming soon, and make sure you all participate because our lives are on the line. You know, we have some officials in Washington that are clearly out to lunch. So we need your best vote. Make sure you vote. I'll see you next time. Stay woke. It's the Early Talk Wake Up Session. Let's get to work.